Hi, everyone. For those who don't know, my name is Nicholas Boyd. Most people call me Nick, my mom calls me Aaron, and some of you might even know me by my stage name, Nigel Featherbottom. However, we've become acquainted. I'm glad you're here. It's a joy to share my work with you. This recital presentation comes at the culmination of my master's degree in jazz arranging and composition at the University of Northern Colorado. I've been grateful to learn so much in my time here, and I'm excited to share my progress with you. Thanks for being here. Allow me to present my arrangement of the 1933 Jerome Kern tune Yesterdays, as played by UNC's Lab Band 2 in Fraser Hall's on-site recording studio run by Greg Heibecker. And so the recital begins. That last chart, Days of Wine and Roses, was my final project for the graduate arranging class last spring. We explored many nitty-gritty arranging topics in that class, like different voicing styles and techniques, how to write in a balanced way for ensemble, that is, how to keep it interesting but not overwhelmingly busy, and different ways to effectively reharmonize a melody to individualize it. It's definitely my favorite class of the degree. I was surprised to reflect on the spring 2020 semester to remember that I recorded the last chart remotely because I had to, so I could turn it in. Our lockdown began after that spring break. That was my first foray into learning both Logic and Final Cut, Apple's platforms for audio and video editing. I'm glad I learned them then, as I've been able to pick up some freelance work using those skills, and they're the tools I used to create this recital for you. Ta-da! Next is an arrangement of the jazz standard My Romance for vocal ensemble and rhythm section. This was my first vocal jazz chart. It was certainly a learning experience. I did things in this arrangement that I will never again ask vocalists to do, but trial and error and actually hearing the realization of your work is a fantastic teacher. Thanks to UNC's Nokovo for recording this remotely, and special thanks to Eric Hagman, a fantastic vocal jazz artist, teacher, and arranger, for his help navigating these waters. Here it is, my arrangement of My Romance.
My romance doesn't need to have a moon in the sky. My romance doesn't need a blue lagoon standing by. No month of May, no twinkling stars, no hideaway, no soft guitar. My romance doesn't need a castle rising in spring. Dance to our constantly surprising refrain. While you're awake, I can't think my most fantastic dreams come true. My romance doesn't need a thing but you. My romance doesn't need a castle rising in Spain, or a dance to a constantly surprising refrain. Wide awake. come true. My romance, it doesn't need a thing but you. Do, 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 my romance.
Because I have friends and family watching who are not professional musicians, I wanted to take a quick second to give them a behind the scenes look at the process of remote recording. This is a process that I've refined over the past year, but that I'm still learning really hard lessons about. Step 1 is the copy work, or making the sheet music as clear and detailed as possible. With these projects, there's usually no rehearsal, and an email that is too long is unlikely to be read in its entirety. So the sheet music needs to communicate the bulk of the information you need the musicians to know about the music itself. Step 2 is creating a MIDI demo or mock-up of what you want the piece to sound like. I usually start with importing the MIDI data from my music notation software into an audio workstation like Logic, where I can fine-tune things like tempo changes, attacks and releases, etc. I also usually record a verbal guide over the top of this demo on which I announce measure numbers and count through tempo changes and fermatas. Step 3 is creating a well-organized online repository for the file sharing. I'll create one folder with the sheet music in it, one with the various demos, and one for file uploads when the musicians are finished recording. Step 4 is very important. Get good musicians to play for you. They need to be accurate in terms of rhythm and pitch and aware of things like intonation, releases, and style, despite the fact that they don't have the same kind of aural information that they're used to playing with and responding to. That way I have to do minimal cleaning at the end. Step 5. Import all the audio files I get back into the Logic demo that I started with. Here's what that looks like. As you can see, there's a file for every instrument. This is where I'll manipulate the individual files, making them fit into an overall sound. This process is what I undertook to record most of the music on this recital, including the next piece, Detour Ahead, for studio orchestra and solo tenor saxophone. This was the biggest of these projects. They'll never be perfect because of the nature of the recording, but I'm proud of how this one turned out, and thankful to all the musicians for their hard work on it. I hope you enjoy Detour Ahead, as performed by the Nick Boyd Home Office Studio Orchestra, with yours truly on tenor saxophone. All right, I wanted to give credit to the musicians of the studio orchestra with words instead of rolling credits. Thanks to Kiki Bryant, Robert Walker, Gaines Brake, Melissa Fuller, Lynn Brake, Christina Nelson, Derek Watson, Cindy Simpson, and her fresh baby, little Caroline, who was thankfully on hand to assist with the high G's in the first horn part. McKenna Reeve, who I can hear drumming right now, Craig Hull, Leah Warman, Chris Peters, Owen Nagel, Lucina Horner, Kelsey Smith, and Domi Edson. Thanks to all of you for recording that last arrangement of Detour Ahead with me. What a project! And I get to play a bit of alto flute, which is always fun. It's a beautiful instrument, in G no less. Next on the program is an arrangement I wrote last spring and remotely recorded over the summer of the jazz standard, Like Someone in Love. I explored some new things on this chart, like writing for doubles, that is, woodwind doubles for the saxes, and writing lyrics. I wrote an original verse for it. According to my research, one doesn't actually exist. If you know of one, let me know and I'll take it back. There's also a vocal soli in the middle with original lyrics. This arrangement features the wonderful vocalist Amanda Roswick along with the Boyd Home Office Big Band. Thanks. Enjoy!
Anyone can see in hopeless little me the thrill of dawning love. When sunlight hits the dew, my thoughts they turn to you. The sparkle in your eye gives me a chill. Our budding love is still enough to set my heart atrill. And I know you're a taken man, but I can't help my heart's command. Lately, I find myself out gazing at stars. I'm hearing guitars like someone in love. Sometimes the things I do astound me. Mostly whenever you're around me. Lately, I seem to walk as though I had wings. I bump into things like someone in love. Each time I look at you, I'm limp as a glove. I'm feeling like someone in love. I am an independent gal, you know, but I confess there is a conflict that's a brewing deep inside my gut. 'Cause you got me feeling like someone in love. The bit of that my heart says it's you I long for. Hope is high in the sky, apple pie. I just wanna scream, it overtakes me and the words disappear.
Well, that was a fun arrangement to work on. Hearing it is a nice reminder of the experience. Up next is an original composition of mine called Waxing Crescent. It was inspired by the composer Wayne Shorter, specifically his melodic sense and his novel approach to harmony, which I was really digging into as part of a seminar on the practices of post-bop composition and performance. I originally called it Waning Crescent in honor of Mr. Shorter, but the melody is characterized by slow growth over time, so Waxing Crescent was a more appropriate title. Interestingly, I tried a new approach to orchestration where I spent several hours reading everything I could find on the internet about the moon. Yes, even the crazy stuff. Uh, Compiling the information into a series of paragraphs and assigning each section of the piece to a paragraph. I used this prose as a descriptive guide for the content of each section. It was a fun approach, inspired by discussions had in Eric Applegate's composition seminar, which I highly recommend for all jazz majors if you have the space to take it as an elective. Finally, a note about the video. I conceptualized a project that involved cross-stitching the moon and photographing the work at different phases so I could time-lapse and animate it. It served at least partially to force some leisure time into my schedule, so I could sit down on the couch with my cross-stitch pattern and bag of thread and say, I'm preparing for my recital right now. Well, the project was a bit ambitious, and I didn't quite finish it, but I'm considering this an opportunity to get over my sense of perfectionism. Without further ado, here's my original composition, Waxing Crescent. Hi again. I'm about to talk more than I should, but this is my recital, so take that. Uh, this degree has really been a wild ride. Um, COVID has made it worse, but you knew that. But I've learned even more than I expected I would. Um, I leave UNC finding myself a more well rounded composer and arranger and a more thoughtful and inclusive scholar. This degree has forced me, enabled me to optimize my organization and time management skills, and I'll definitely keep those tools with me for the rest of my life. I'm thankful for many, many people, most of whom will go unnamed, but I want to shout out some people for their individual contributions to my education. First, Drew Zaremba, my applied arranging and composition professor, for those who don't know. Thank you, Drew, for the excitement about the music that you bring to the table. Your high energy is something that I feed off of, and I'm very thankful that I got to study with you. Uh, Brian Casey, the rigor and depth with which you approach the study of jazz academics is otherworldly. I must admit, I found it hard to keep up at times, but I'm grateful for the resources and for the consistent practice of delving into any given topic, a skill that I'll certainly use on my areas of interest in the future. To the other BC, Brian Claxton, you bring a consistent simmer of positive energy to the table, along with musical knowledge and experience that knows no genre boundaries. I've been fortunate to have you as both a combo and a big band director, and I'm quite thankful for that. Steve Kowalczyk, um, the thoughtful and thorough way that you engage both your students and the material at hand is inspiring, and I learned a lot from simply observing your teaching style. So thanks. Eric Applegate, thank you for your persistent kindness. It really is a model that we can all look towards. I want to acknowledge how much work you've done for the program, especially over the past year. It was often behind the scenes, but I can guarantee and I can speak for more than myself to say that it did not go unnoticed. Thank you. One thing all these professors have in common is their sheer love for jazz music and their desire to share that love with their students. This has been perhaps the most motivating of all. So, thank you. I have to call out a few friends really quickly, without whom this degree would have been even more difficult than it was. Uh, Jeremy Quick, thank you for your ability to engage with me on ideas about music and life in general in a way that makes innocent bystanders uncomfortable. um, Alex, Annan, thank you for being a foil to me in every way possible. I have learned more from you than you know. Thanks. And last but not least, to my best friend, my wife Liz, thank you for your consistent support, your affirmations and encouragement, and your dependability. I'm beyond thankful that I didn't have to do this without you. Love you. As for the rest of yous, this is a reminder to be encouraged. This past year has been an absolute bear for most of the people I know. But thankfully, we're on our way out of this thing. Hang in there. Let's take this opportunity to learn from how we've lived in the past, maybe in a way that doesn't serve us or the people around us. And let's use that information to make our world a better place for others. Hell, for yourself. You're more powerful than you think. Okay. After this pensive and occasionally brooding collection of tunes, I would like to end with something fun. Here's an arrangement of Paramore's Ain't It Fun for vocal ensemble, horns, and rhythm section. Thanks to UNC's Vocal Lab for putting this together in a week. and to the musicians around the world, from Colorado to Georgia and Alabama to Thailand, who recorded it. Cheers, y'all.
I don't mind letting you down easy, but just give it time. If it don't hurt now, but just wait a while. You're not the big fish in the pond no more. You are what they're feeding on. So what are you gonna do when the world don't orbit around you? So what are you gonna do when the world don't orbit around you? Ain't it fun? Living in the real world. Ain't it good being all alone?
Where you're from,
Hometown,
you might be the one who's running things.
you are killing.
Where you can ring anybody's bell and get what you want. See, it's easy to ignore trouble when you're living in a bubble.
So what?